another note, I want to read you a quote, and this is a quote from you explaining your draft combine. So you said, if they were to say who had the worst combine in the history of the combine, I'd be top 10. I got the flu. I got the flu 4 days before I'm supposed to go. I lost 20 pounds. So how did you find your way through and after the draft combine?
Um, I'll tell you this. I'm thank goodness they don't have footage there. In fact, I just found out this year. I did not realize. In 1987 was the first year they had done it in Indianapolis. I didn't realize that was actually the first year. That was the first year that I went to camp. So, okay, that being said, I did get sick. Actually, what I didn't mention in there, which is my biggest concern, is the NFL sent me a note because I'd mentioned that I'm sick and I'm on antibiotics and blah blah, and they're like, you better send a prescription. I mean, a signed document, and have everything outlined what you're taking so you don't fail your drug test. So now I'm sweating bullets and I'm going to fail my drug test. I'm like, and if they just see me, they know I'm not on steroids. Like, even Chuck Noll said that because he said, I'm gonna fast forward and back up. But after I was drafted, we were working in the gym. He's trying. He's like, he goes, hey, Merril, I know you're not on steroids. I saw you in the combine. Of course. You're right, Chuck. I go, I wasn't taking steroids, but I was sick as a dog. But that being said, um, this is the one thing I learned. I didn't know it at that time because I was devastated. My 40, I think, was just short of embarrassing. I almost caught. I think I had at one point I had the most receptions by a running back in NCAA history, and I might actually still have that. If I do, I will own it forever because nobody's going to play 4 years anymore. Just by sheer years, I'll probably never be that will never be broken. And I had probably up to 200 and some receptions as a running back. That being said, in the combine, I don't think I caught a pass. The only thing that I did remotely well is I did the 20-yard shuttle. I ran it in like 3.99, which is like off the charts. When you get under four, that's just dynamic. That's the only thing I did well. Is the only thing I did well, and I left the combine bit disappointed. I wasn't a coveted draft pick after that. There were teams that came back to work me out again. I had the Redskins, Washington Redskins at the time, now the Commanders, Packers, Broncos, and Raiders. And the Raiders were actually the team that was supposed to draft me. I was projected to go in the fifth round to the Raiders, and all of them reworked me out again. The Pittsburgh Steelers came back, but they never worked me out again. They actually talked to me about basketball more than they talked to me about football. So I remember when I left, I'm like, okay, of all the teams that came in, I know one team ain't interested, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers because they talked to me more about basketball than they did football because they had a basketball league that the players played on in the off season. So um, that was. I'm just grateful they don't have footage. If they have footage, it's archaic, and you probably never see it. But it was a bad display. But what it gave me, I didn't realize at the time it was a great example of measurables versus real football. And there's a lot of people, and more people back then than are today, that were looking for football players. They understood the combine was a measurable event. It's an athletic event. Said nothing about football. It's more about talking to the guys and get to know them and having a better feel of what kind of human being they are, because that's a pivotal aspect of picking somebody. But it's not about picking the guy who's the fastest in his underwear. I mean, if you do that, just go to the Olympics and get everybody that doesn't make the Olympic trials and put them on your team if it's that easy. And that was I didn't realize, but that was going to be my first example of how it's not a football evaluation. It's a athletic event.